Welcome to Sarah Talks Food. Today we're going to be talking about exercise, and this is something that I've sort of shied away from over the last several months of having this blog going. I've had lots of people asking me, Sarah, what do you do for exercise? When do you exercise? What do you do? And I've been shying away for a reason, and that's because I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not even certified in CanFit Pro or any of those certificate programs. I don't have any of those letters behind my name. And I just fear that somebody might get hurt or something might happen and someone will say, well, you told me to do this and it didn't work for me. So what I'm going to say today right off the bat, there's a caveat here. I'm going to tell you what I do, and if something here connects with you and feels like something that you could do too, then I want you to check it out. I also want you to talk to your doctor and make sure that you are, safe to go on these kinds of exercises, because we are going to be going to the gym today. We're going to be talking about some of the exercises that I like to do, and I'm going to show you sort of the way that I do them. But first off, I want to give you a little history. So 13 years ago, if you're following along with my story, I got healthier. I wanted to get fit. I kind of set foot in the first gym. I'd been to a couple before, but really for the first time with a purpose and a goal to be there and to get fit and to get healthy. I had no idea what I was doing, and I really just reached for, the elliptical machine. I wandered over to the treadmill or the bike, and so it was mainly cardio, which is how I started. And I find that a lot of women, we sort of get stuck in cardio. We forget that we have muscles too, that we can build those muscles, and that we don't have to bulk up, that it can really help us to tone down and to just really look, really strong and lean and really good in our bodies. And that's kind of the look that I was going for, but I wasn't achieving it because I was just on the treadmill. So when I moved to Ottawa, I remember I was on the treadmill one day, and this about 65-year-old fellow came over to me and he said, "What are you doing?" And I looked at him and I said, "I'm on the treadmill. I'm exercising." And he said, "Yeah, but what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting cardio. I'm doing cardio." And he said, "You know what? What do you want to work on today? What is your goal today? What do you want to strengthen?" And I didn't have an answer for him. I didn't understand what he was talking about. So we had a great conversation that day. We went over and had a coffee and chat. And he really talked to me about, if you really want to strengthen that body, it's going to take a lot more than hanging out on the treadmill for an hour a day. Like, that's just not going to work. And so he really got me onto a great routine, and I was doing sort of a 5-day, 3 days on, 2 days off, and I was doing this really cool routine with him. And it really opened my eyes to the world of exercise. At that same time, I started really studying and researching and reading a bunch of stuff. Things like Tony Horton, the founder of P90X. I started researching him and reading his books and doing his workouts. They are killers. If you want to start somewhere and you've got some physical fitness in your background, you might want to try Tony's programs. They are intense for sure. I also started getting interested, this isn't too long ago, this is probably just last year, Thinner This Year and Younger Next Year. These book series are amazing. They're written by Chris Crowley, and then he gets other authors on board because he's in his 81st year, I think, right now, and this guy is in top shape. He's still biking, he's still skiing, he's still doing amazing things. And his whole philosophy is about we are decaying every single day. We are rotting. Sounds awful, but it's true. We are aging every single day. We are not getting younger every single day. We are getting older. And it's not something to be feared. I think so many women, especially, I find, we're so afraid of aging. We try so hard to buy that right makeup and do all of these right things, and plastic surgery or surgeries or procedures, and we're trying so hard to push back the hands of time, and yet so much of it can be done, inside. It's an inside job, as Kathy Donovan would say. A lot of these things are inside jobs. We can work on the food that we're eating to look younger. It's amazing what sugar does to our looks. Don't even get me started. But we can do a lot when it comes to eating really good foods, hydrating foods, healthy foods, real live food. We can exercise every single day for the rest of our lives. And that's the key. It's parking farther away than you need to so that you can get some extra steps in. It's taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It's doing things that we can do throughout the day to keep moving, because who's kidding who? We are behind desks. We are sitting. We are not able to move the way we are designed and built to move. These precious gifts that we've been given, our bodies, they are designed and built to move, and so much of the time we are not moving. Jillian Michaels, awesome girl. I just love her. She's so inspirational. So she's from The Biggest Loser, of course, and she's written lots of different books. This one, Making the Cut, was really good. It's about losing sort of that last 10 to 20 stubborn pounds that you want to lose. But really for me, it was just to get a sense of her philosophy, to get a sense of what kinds of exercises she likes, how much weight she uses, that kind of thing. So I was interested in that book. And then Women's Health. Every month I get this magazine in the mail and I just absolutely love it. I should really do something with the extra ones, but I tend to go back through and look at recipes and different exercises. But every single month I get that magazine in the mail and it gets me so excited and fired up. It reminds me that I'm on my path towards my goal of staying healthy, of being fit, and somebody who, surrounds himself with that kind of information. I think that it just really helps us to stay on course. I think that, really, if my home can be a safe haven, if you know me, you know that I don't have junk food in my home. If I'm gonna have junk food, I have to specifically go out and get it. And I do, I have cheat days for sure, but I have to specifically go out and get that food. It's not always in my home. My reading material is supportive of my goals. It's usually inspirational stuff, it's fitness stuff, it's food stuff, things that are interesting and healthy for me. You can also always order sort of the extras that you can get with the different magazines out there. They usually have extra guides, and they're just fun for different exercises, different things that you can learn. It's just kind of a fun way to supplement your resources. Another one that's really been powerful to me is Harley Pasternak's book, and I'm going to talk a lot about his exercises when we go down to the gym today. What I love about this one, 5 Factor Fitness, and he's Canadian, and he's trained Halle Berry and other famous people. But what I love is that it's quick, it's easy, it's doable, I should say, and it's 2 strength training exercises with a little cardio at the beginning and some abdominal work at the end, and you're done. And I can really get on board with that. The other thing I want to tell you is just, if you can find something that you love, things like Zumba classes, yoga, Pilates. I loved kickboxing. I loved Pilates. I love yoga. If you can get on board with some of these things, go swimming, aquafit, and join a class, having those other people around you that are supporting your goals as well and keeping you motivated, that phone call of a friend being like, are you going to go tonight? That can really be empowering. That can really be, what's the word I'm looking for? It can really just help you to stay on course with your goals. And it can just mean that you've got that buddy with you that's in the same boat, you've got a like-minded person right there with you that's helping you along. And so I think that can really be powerful as well. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's go to the gym. It's in the basement of my condo building. It's a tiny little gym. You're going to see it in a minute. And so it's going to show you that no matter where you are, as long as you've got some hand weights and a bench, you can pretty much do any exercise. As long as you've got a human body, you're probably good to go. I want you to love your life one bite at a time. Welcome to this little teeny tiny gym that's going to have everything we need to go ahead and get strong and fit and healthy. And this is where I work out about 6 days a week. Definitely, I come prepared with lots of water. So I've got about 1 liter of water, and I always have my iPod with me. So I think that's really important to download a really great playlist, something that's really going to get you moving and pumped up. This isn't the time for, necessarily classical or things that are sort of low beat. You want something with a really good beat. So there are lots of really cool playlists out there that you can check out or download your favorite tunes. So I would typically maybe come in and start walking on the treadmill. As soon as I was down to about 30, up to about 30 seconds on the treadmill, I'd start to kick it up a little bit. I'd walk a little bit faster. I don't believe in stretching before a workout. You definitely want to stretch after a workout, but beforehand, you really are wanting to just kind of warm up your muscles in the way that you're going to be exercising. So instead of using the treadmill today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a warm up where I'm going to start moving my feet a little bit. I'm going to kind of just, warm up my body. I haven't exercised yet today. I'm going to start kind of bouncing around a little bit. And this is kind of inspired a little bit by Tracy Anderson. If you want to go to tracyanderson.com, she is hardcore. She is awesome. And she was a dancer. And so a lot of her cardio is cardio dance. So a lot of the times I'll just have my iPod in and I just kind of get going, and it's kind of fun because I'll just kind of start dancing. And I mean, I know I look ridiculous, but this is kind of one of the moves that she does a lot of, and she's often on her toes. I also do a lot of jumping jacks. So those are really good to get you really, fired up, to get your heart rate going. And you can see that I'm kind of just warming up slowly. Like I can start to get a lot faster in jumping jacks in a little bit. I can do some skaters. So that's where I'm going to sort of have that foot coming in behind, acting like I'm almost skating on the canal. I live here in Ottawa, so we do a lot of skating on the canal in the winter. But those are called skaters. I'm gonna do high knees. These ones are so hard. I'm gonna make sure that those knees are coming as high as they possibly can, trying to keep my shoulders down, and then I'll go into jumping jacks again. So the idea, when I can catch my breath, is just to kind of get the body moving, and I time it for about 5 minutes. So I do a really good 5-minute workout where I couldn't have a conversation with somebody. Like I definitely am gonna be huffing and puffing, and I couldn't be just chit-chatting with anybody. You wanna get to your heart rate to that point. All right, so now that we're all warmed up from our cardio workout at the beginning, now we're gonna do some strength training. And so 2 of the exercises that I really like that Harley puts together, because he does supersets, which means that he does 2 opposing body parts for exercise. So 2 of the ones that I really like, it's the Tuesday workout, it's rows and chest press, and I really like those 2 exercises, so I'm gonna show you those. But one caveat when it comes to Harley's book, and I want you to go out and buy it, and I'm not gonna tell you everything that's in his book today for sure, because I respect authors and the work that experts do for sure. But the meal plans, the recipes that are in that book, I don't follow those at all. I don't eat anything that he has created only because he uses a microwave in almost all of his recipes, and I don't even own one. And he uses a lot of sort of uncheese and unmeat and things like that, and I'm just a fan of eating real food. He uses a lot of egg whites only in the carton as well, and I just much prefer to eat the whole egg. So for those kinds of reasons, I just leave the recipes out of it, but I love the workout that he's put together. So here we go, we're gonna get started with rows. And so I use 20-pound weights. I don't advise you to start with 20-pound weights. I had to work up to 20-pound weights after doing this workout for probably 6 months. So I want you to just start low and slow, maybe 3 or 5 pounds, whatever works for you. All you really need is a bench and a hand weight. So again, if you read Harley's book, you'll get all the details on how to do it. But I'm holding my core in tight, and I'm going ahead and dropping the weight nice and low, and pulling it up, squeezing at the top. Breathing out there, breathing in here, breathing out. So now we're gonna do chest press. So holding the weights right near my chest, pushing up, holding my back nice and flat against the bench, and just pushing up. And that's it. All right, so now we're gonna do shoulder press. This is one of my favorite exercises for strengthening my shoulders and for getting that look that I really like. I like to have the look of strong shoulders. I like to wear a lot of sort of sleeveless shirts and things like that. So I like to have strong shoulders. Again, using 20 pounds, I do not expect you guys to use 20 pounds right off the bat if you're not familiar with these exercises, but you can certainly work up to that. So push. Holding my core in tight. And that's it. All right, so now we're gonna do bicep curls. And one tip is if you're at the gym doing bicep curls, you are not trying to impress anybody else. Make sure of that. So you just use whatever weight works for you. And if you ever start to feel pain in your elbows or anywhere else in your arms, that's the time to stop. You don't keep going. So basically we're just gonna hold these down by our sides. Breathe out at the top. Breathe in on the way down. And bring them up. These are just a really good way to strengthen those biceps. So now we're gonna do some squats. And the neat thing about squats is that they really help to strengthen that big muscle in our bodies, which is the quadriceps. So you want your feet about hip width apart, and you don't even need weights or anything. You're just gonna be pushing your hips back as if you're sitting in a chair. And in fact, sometimes I actually do use just a bench. And sometimes I'll even go with just one foot. So you can just kind of squat down into that seated position, arms out in front of you. Squeeze your tush when you come back up. That's a good way to tone and tighten. Keep that belly button in tight, core in tight, and just keep doing it that way. And if you want to go one-legged, it's good for balance. You're going to go ahead and pretend to sit. Woo! And I shouldn't say pretend to sit, I actually do sit. So I kind of just get right down and then right back up, but it's one-legged. So now I'm going to do some lunges. These are some of my favorite exercises because there's lots of different modifications to these. Sometimes I use hand weights. Sometimes I add a little cardio by doing scissor lunges. Or I just do traditional lunges, alternating my feet. So I'm going to go forward, Really lunging forward, letting that back knee drop down and push up. Come back, alternate that foot, down and back up. And you can kind of just do these maybe about 20 on each side or 10 on each side. Remember, it's just whatever works for you. Again, I could be holding on to hand weights if I wanted to make it a little bit more challenging. And then here are the scissor lunges. So those add a little bit of cardio element into it. And those, just do as many as you can. All right, so now that we've done our cardio at the beginning, we've done our strength training, now it's time for our abdominal workout. So I like one thing that, it's Tracy Anderson. She is amazing. I think I talked about her at the beginning video. She is hardcore. Go online and check out tracyanderson.com. But she does a lot of standing abs. So she kind of just puts her hands on her hip bones and she's just kind of squeezing her abs. So you can do this in lines. I do this when I'm just kind of waiting at the coffee shop or if I'm somewhere where it's not gonna look too strange. But she's also pretending that she's sort of wiggling out of something. And so you're really squeezing your abs in tight and you're just kind of moving around and just really just engaging those muscles. So it's just kind of a neat way to do it wherever you are, or I also do it at the gym as well. I also love doing planks. Planks are one of the most important exercises for all human bodies to do. So I highly encourage you to get started on trying to do a plank. Holding it for about 10 seconds, working your way up to 1 minute. You're pulling in your belly button this entire time. You're nice and flat, so your bum isn't like this in the air. You're trying to sort of be like a plank, like a board. And you're just holding and breathing. Shaking is normal. My yoga instructor always says, shaking is shaking. And I love that. When you're done, you just come out of it. You might want to go into a child's pose. There are modifications with planks too that I really like. Squeeze that belly button. You're pulling the belly button up towards the spine. You can lift one arm up. This is a very common pose in yoga. Pulling that belly button in and then alternate to the other side. You can do rockin' planks, we call them. Roger named them this. I don't know where he got that name. But we just kind of roll back and forth. Still holding that belly button in tight, tight, tight. Squeezing the glutes, the butt. You can also lift one foot off the floor. Makes it a lot more challenging. Yeah, so planks. Get into those. Those are tough for sure. This next abdominal exercise is called the hundreds. And Roger and I learned this from a really cool Pilates instructor here in Ottawa. And so the way that it works is you get into tabletop position. So you're coming down on your back. You're looking at your belly button, so neck and shoulders are up, arms are up, and hands are facing down. Palms are facing down. So basically you're gonna breathe in twice, breathe out twice. And that's 4. So you're gonna do 25 of these 4s. So let's get started. And after 100 of those, your abs are burning. All right, so this last abdominal exercise I'm gonna show you is another one from Harley's book. And so basically you're just holding onto a weight in one hand and you're just gonna slide back and forth. This is for the obliques, this is for the sides of the abs. So you're really gonna feel a pull in that area. I want you to go with either no weights or low weights if you've never done these before, and depending on your level of fitness. But these ones are just really good for activating those oblique muscles. So I really like these ones. So you'd switch hands after about 10 or 20, depending on how many you're doing on each side. So good luck with that one. It's really good, it feels great. So I really loved having you here with me at the gym today. I hope you see that I don't spend my whole life in a gym. It's 25 minutes of my day. You know, it's first thing in the morning. I get up, I have my breakfast, and I hit the gym. And so then I've got the whole rest of the day to do the things that I need to do. I've got to work, I've got to cook and eat and plan things. And the other thing that we love to do, Roger and I love hopping on our bikes or going to play tennis. Or go swimming or do other active things. And I find that if my body's fit and healthy because I do this ritual every day of working out 6 days a week at least, then for me, being able to then go on my bike or do other things, it's easy to do. I can go for a hike because I am feeling healthy and fit in my body. I find that if we can prioritize this the way that we prioritize brushing our teeth and eating food, then our lives just become so much more enriched, and that's what I want for you. You know, I want you to really love your life. I really, really mean that. And so this for me is a way that I'm honoring my body, doing something quick and easy, meaning that it's doable. I don't need you to be using 20-pound weights. You don't have to be doing everything I'm saying, but just do something. Something is better than nothing. Even 10 minutes a day, if that's all you've got, go for it, but just make that commitment and do it. You are worth it. I promise you are awesome.